Hello everyone, can you hear us?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. So a very good afternoon to all of you. Myself, Kavita Lalwani, working as a faculty in the Department of Physics and as a nodal officer in TechUP, taking care of this faculty in research. On behalf of organizing committee, I feel privileged to welcome you all in the inaugural ceremony of 5 days online workshop on the outcome-based education and MBA accreditation process, which is starting today, October 19th, and it will run for 5 days till October 23 to 2020. So this program is jointly organized by MNIT Jaipur and CTI Udaipur under the tuning activities of TQ3. The aim of this workshop is to nurture the philosophy of outcome-based education among the faculty members, heads of the department, and directors of the institution. In this workshop, objectives, methodology, process flow, and benefits of the MBA accreditation will be discussed by the eminent experts to inculcate the outcome-based education in the teaching and learning process of the institution. I extend my welcome to our chief guest, Professor P.M. Godke, who is presently the Chief Project Advisor of NPIU Delhi. Our presiding guest, Professor Uday Kumar R. Yaragatti, Director of MNIT Jaipur. Our guest of honor, Professor Narendra Singh Rathore, VC MPUAT Udaipur, who are connected with us online. Now, I would like to extend my warm welcome to Professor Ajay Sharma, Dean CTI Udaipur, Professor Vineet Sahula, CI of the EICT Academy Jaipur, Dr. Rohit Bakar, Coordinator of TQ3 MNIT Jaipur, and our keynote speaker of the today's session, Professor Vittal S. Bandal, COEP Pune, who is connected online with us. I further extend my welcome to our participants who are faculty member of MNIT Jaipur, CTI Udaipur, as well as from the various engineering colleges of the country. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Chitrakan Sahu, convener of the program, to give you a welcome address and brief about this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I welcome again all the panelists this workshop and all the attendees, the participants. So in this workshop, we'll basically focus on the outcome-based education and MBA accreditation process. This is a 5-day program, and its schedule is just like that. Today, after the inaugural session, we have the talk from the Professor Vittal Bandal from COP Pune. They will be talking about the MBA introduction and importance of outcome-based education. On the second day, so our beloved Professor V. Sahula, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, will be talking about the program outcome and course outcome and Bloom's taxonomy and how to design the course outcome. He will be discussed tomorrow. And after that, third day, we have the agenda of how to compute the course attainment and program attainment and the sample assessment and attainment calculation by Professor Venkata Rao, SVNIT Surat. The fourth day of the workshop, we have the basic overview of the self-assessment report by Professor Dilip Sharma, the Department of Mechanical Engineering, MNIT Jaipur. And the last day of the event, we'll be discussing about the different gap analysis and writing action plan to improve the curriculum and to improve the course attainment and program attainment by Professor Umakant Kulkarni, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. So these are the brief agenda of the 5-day event. So in this workshop, I just give the information that there are 270 participants attending the workshop. Over there, there are from different institutes across the country. So majorly, they are from MNIT and CTI Udaipur. After 270, 100 participants from MNIT and CTI Udaipur, and 170 participants from different parts of the country, like NIT Jamshedpur, NIT Kurukshetra, NIT Sikkim, and many more central universities, as well as the premium institute, like private institution from the north as well as south. And this is just a brief idea that about 70% of the attendees are the assistant professors, and 15% are the assistant professor, and 15% of the participants are the faculty level professors. So I thank you all for joining this event, and welcome all the panelists again for the future talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for giving the overview of the workshop and important highlights about the workshop. So now I would like to invite Dr. Rohit Bakhar, who is the coordinator of PQ MNIT Jaipur, to introduce you about the initiative and the activities undergoing under the TQ3. Sir, I welcome.
Thank you. Respected Professor Kodke, Chief Project Advisor, NPIU, Professor N.S. Rathod, Vice Chancellor, NPIUT Udaipur, our respected Director, Sir, Professor Kumar Aryaragati, Professor Ajay Sharma, Dean, CTU Udaipur, Professor Mahesh Kothari, Technical Coordinator at CTU Udaipur, my senior colleagues, Professor Vineet Savla, Dr. Chitakant and Dr. Kavita, Professor P.L. Swami, who is the MBA coordinator at our school, and other senior faculty members and colleagues joining from parts of the country. I'm happy to be on this occasion sharing dais with senior advisors and senior mentors to this project. This has been a long journey in TechIP, when we started our training with CTU Udaipur, and luckily with the blessings of Professor N.S. Rathod, Vice Chancellor Udaipur, as well as our director, sir, we have been very successful in doing the training activities at both the institutions, pre-COVID as well as post-COVID era. And we have organized a large number of activities which have been beneficial not only to our institute, but their institute as well as other participants across the country. One of the major highlights is NBA accreditation, in which both the institutes, CTU Udaipur has done very successfully. It has done the accreditation, as well as our institute also. We have achieved 85% accreditation for submitted SAR for 85% of programs at UG level, as well as 63% for the PG level. Apart from that also, we have organized a wide variety of programs benefiting the students, and we have attained fulfilled the parameters, the key performance indicators, as well as the performance parameters that NPIU had suggested us, be it about R&D, where we have already mentored 70 CRS projects across the country, be it about digital education, in which our 50% plus faculty members are already trained in MOOC, SWAYAM, or other NAPTEL courses like Coursera and other courses, whichever platform we were able to utilize, we have utilized it. Even our students have been benefited in terms of hackathon, even GATE examination. Our institute is one of the largest batch of students where the students have been successful in securing GATE scores. This, as Professor Kodke had initially pointed out at the start of the TechIP project, that if we are able to fulfill, we should be treated as a role model, and definitely we have also successfully spent most of the money. So as of now, we would be happy if to continue working on this and getting continued support from NPIU for benefiting both the institutes as well as other institutes and other participants as well. So I would look forward to continued support from NPIU at this stage.
Thank you very much, sir, for speaking about the TCube activities and initiative at MNIT Jaipur. I must say TCube is an active system, and its efforts and continuous support are very much useful for faculty, students, as well as the non-teaching staff of MNIT Jaipur. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Professor Vineet Savla, who is the CI, Chief Investigator of the EICT Academy Jaipur, to introduce about the EICT activities and initiatives at MNIT Jaipur. I welcome.
Thank you, Doctor. Good afternoon to all of you. Professor P.M. Kodke from NPIU, Professor Uday Kumar Yadav from our institute, who happens to be chairman of our Academy's Advisory Board, Professor Arjun Singh Rathod, VC, Maharana Pratap University, my senior colleagues, Professor B.L. Swami Sahab, he is Institute MBA coordinator. Dr. Rohit Bhakar, who is TechUp coordinator here, and all coordinators of this program from our institute and from CTAE. I'm very glad to be here, and thanks to organizer to let us join their own efforts for spreading the OBE education. The academy is glad for that. Just to give you a brief about the academies have existed in 7 institutes for last 5 years. 3 at IITs, Roorkee, Kanpur and Guwahati. 3 at NITs, ours, Warangal and Patna, and 1 at IIT Jabalpur. The main objective was to train faculty members so that the students become employable in long term at all the institutes all over India, and not only including engineering technology, but science and other streams also. The targets have been set for all academies, and we are almost achieving all our targets thanks to participants for their interest, and the mentors and the experts for taking part, and of course my institute and my advisory board chairman for giving us such an opportunity and encouragement and the guidance there. The duration of the project is up to 2022, and we are on our path for accelerated number of participants. The texture of courses are niche areas of electronics and IT, even core courses of electronics and IT. And apart from that, we are also offering many courses which enable the teaching learning using ICT tools for all these streams everywhere. We are very glad to join the efforts of TechUp, thanks to Professor Rohit. You can see our website for future activities. I just take 1-2 minutes to remind Professor Ajay Sharma from CTAE, our good teaching times at Thailand, Asian Institute of Technology in 2004. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for giving the overview of the EICT Academy MNIT Jaipur. And thank you very much, sir, for providing us the support to organize this workshop on MBA accreditation process. Now, I would like to invite Professor Ajay Sharma, Dean CTAE Udaipur, to introduce about the TechUp activities at CTAE Udaipur. Sir, I welcome you.
Thank you, madam. Chief guest of the today's function, Professor PM Kurke, and from NPIU. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Naren Singh Ji Rathore, MPIT Udaipur. Honorable Professor Uday Kumar Ji, Director MNIT Jaipur, presiding. My friend Professor Vineet Sahula. Thank you very much for remembering this after a long time. Dr. Rohit Bhakar, TechUp Coordinator, MNIT Jaipur. Dr. Chandrakant Sahu, convener of this workshop. Dr. Kavita Swani and Dr. Vikramaditya Dave, coordinator of these workshops. It's my pleasure in welcoming all our dignitaries on this online platform through a floral welcome. Thank you very much, sir, and we welcome you all in this program. As we all know that NBA accreditation is a very important for assuring quality education, and NBA accreditation just leads to the outcome-based education, which is the topic of this online workshop. And TechUp has always been stressing hard on NBA accreditation, and it has kept this NBA accreditation as a performance parameter for our participating institutes. Thanks are due to TechUp for supporting infrastructure and improving quality education through this program. We at CTAE, in addition to what Dr. Bhakar has said about the tuning programs, at our college, we are conducting employment skill trainings, GATE coaching, English language proficiency training, participation on online courses and webinars, especially during this COVID period, future skill trainings such as blockchain technology and data analytics, employability skill assessments by MCAT, student summer internship, faculty training, and support for presenting research papers and remedial classes. So these are, in short, what I am taking. Others activities are not many activities we are taking under TechUp, and we have a very, you can say, good outcomes of these efforts and support from the TechUp. Out of 3 eligible programs for NBA accreditation, the others we are not able to fulfill the cadre ratio of the faculty. That's why otherwise in all respects we are completing it. We have 3 UG programs and 5 PG programs and be aggregated. Then I would like to share that we stood among first 25 in Atal ranking given by MHRD this year. This is also a result of TechCube. Then we have been winner in AICT SEGI Award this year also. And in addition to that, we had a MOU with Western Sydney University, Australia, and Jal Shakti Mantralaya, which has been recently approved by our Prime Minister Cabinet also 2-3 days back. It has been approved by Cabinet, Central Cabinet also. So it's a great achievement for us. Then GATE results, definitely we are conducting GATE results, GATE classes coaching, and as a result of this, we are continuing for last 3 to 4 years. More than 25% students are getting success in this. Then the placements also have improved because of all this activity. And despite of this COVID, we had around 60% of the placement. There is 160 placements are already there, and students are now getting, after these examinations, students are getting their offer letters also. And I would like to add in this that we have an increase in CTC of the total average CTC, that is what we mean to say. CTC is 4.21. Previously it was 3.9, and average CTC is now increased to 4.21 lakhs. And the highest package is around 11 or 12 lakhs. That is what is this one. And because of this employment skill trainings and this one, we had this year 5 to 6 students selected in IIMs. And keeping our efforts, we will be, since admission process in first year is now in the middle, right, what we can say. So we will be starting 3 weeks induction program on online mode for the students. Then startup cell is also working at our college, and some of the students have turned up into entrepreneurs in this. And our faculty and the students, this is innovation, and this one we have filed in all 7 patents are filed in TechCube. So this is in nutshell what I was describing our activities of TechCube at our institute. Now, in support of Dr. Thakur has said that we will be also, as we are fulfilling the performance parameters, which are more than the required as the setup by the TechCube. So we would also request our NPIU to please support us in future also in coming years, and definitely we will be giving good more results. Thank you, Tariq. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the different activities and initiative at CTE Udaipur. It has been a very good experience working on the various activities under the training program at NIT Jaipur and in CTE Udaipur. Now, I would like to invite our director, sir, Professor Uday Kumar Aryaradaki, for the inaugural address to the participant of this workshop and grace this event. Welcome, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, all the beautiful people, all the educationists and the faculty members and students, if there are any, who are the PhD students. Respected Professor Narendra Singh Rathod ji, Professor PM Kodke ji, my colleagues Professor BL Swami and the College of Engineering and Technology Udaipur. We have Mahesh Kotari ji, then Ajay Sharma ji, my colleagues Professor Bakar, Professor Shavla, Dr. Chitrakant Sahu, Dr. Kavita Lalwani, Dr. Vikramaditya Dave, and all the guest speakers and the participants. There were days when some 10-15 years back, most of the engineering institutes or technical institutes need to be accredited other than the NAAC. So we had a long process of this accreditation, what we call NBA. In the process, everything went on very well, but the competition started. And most of the institutes were all, some of the institutes were related to politicians or political leaders. Some of the educationists were there. Some of the big business houses were also involved in creating education because they found it lucrative at that time, but without any standards. So these standards has to be checked or advised what it has to be done. That's how the accreditation process started. And for your kind information, the IITs are not in that accreditation process. If you know it, they don't take up this accreditation. So it starts from NITs and the rest of the system. Okay, one way it was a good idea that people will be alert rather than making education as a business. Because suddenly there was a demand for technical education. And I think the Karnataka is the most talked about. They started something around about 286 or 300 colleges, and students across the country were pouring into Karnataka. Seeing that, then the neighboring states like Andhra, Tamil Nadu, that time, okay, Telangana was not there, unified Andhra, Tamil Nadu, then the Maharashtra, then Kerala started mushrooming engineering colleges. Then slowly it went to the northern part also, then Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, everywhere. But the accreditors found out that the standards are not maintained. I'll be frank in certain cases because almost I have done some 35 to 40 NBA visits. Depending on which subject, okay, few faculty, if they are very strong in electrical, civil, mechanical, any one of them, that department will be very strong, rest of the department will be following their things. So over a period of process, the Indian government thought that we have to join hands with the American system, with the American Accord, Washington DC Accord, there was a tie-up and we wanted. And their standards are, of course, the other developed countries, we don't say that our standards are bad. Their standards are something different. And then started these grading systems. You know, earlier there was to be marking system. Now afterwards is a grading system had come. I mean, ratio based. There, the figures will speak what is the grade, or what is the percentage. So there is no room for any manipulations. And when that came into existence, then all this outcome-based education, then there are different systems came out, how to connect what is required. Okay, the topics are, finally we'll focus on outcome-based education only. What is outcome-based education? You will be knowing in all these 5 days. But the basic thing is focus on the learning process, which has to be taught by teacher, teaching process. Earlier days when we were studying, it was totally teacher-centric learning. Then now it is becoming a student-centric learning. Which type of subject the student wants? It's not that murgi ko pooch ke masala karna na hai. This is a education system where what student is interested in which area and what the industry gets connected to him in which area. Because some of the industries select the students seeing whether they have studied a particular subject, subject X, subject Y or article. So when they are choosy, the students get confused. Because I remember I'm from NIT Surathkal. When I was a HOD, there was a demand from my final year electrical students. Sir, please give us a certificate of one article in digital signal processing that we have studied. Then I told, sir, bacha dekho, I am already giving that you have studied DSP. No, the particular industry, I think it was a dream industry. They want whether we have been taught in particular article. I have to give them a subject. Yes, this comes in the DSP and this is article they study. And I think some 3-4 of my electrical students were recruited that. So when the industry becomes so specific, we need to cater, institutes should cater to all those things. No, this is the latest development. So outcome-based education, what is the goal you have to specify, fix it. Earlier, this is a structure. You have to study this thing. This is your goal. You are the faculty or the head of the institute or whoever fixes the goal. This is the goal, you go and reach it. Now, seeing the capacity of the students, seeing the developments in the industry, seeing their capacity to capture what is being taught in the class, we have to fix the goals. The goals may be changing. The goals changes depending on the subject, depending on the mentality, depending on the area, depending on the industries, what the nearby industries. So the outcome-based education becomes very crucial in this place, and the curriculum to be taught at that places again goes on changing. We cannot have a general curriculum across India. That was also tried. Okay, all the engineering institutes will have this curriculum only. So nowadays it is not acceptable. So the curriculum also changes as per the outcome-based education goals changes. So the faculty members, even those who are new to this profession, need to understand that teaching art. Teaching is an art where you make the students understand what you teach. That is more important, not just for the attendance sake. You go and write some equations and say you work out the programs, and the students also coming to the class for the attendance. Chalo, aaj attendance milta hai. Your teaching should make the students attractive to your teaching process. I think most of the young students are realizing that now. Okay, we the middle aged and above, we had our own setup of mindset where we are teaching. It was very difficult for us to change our pattern and attitude of teaching at the latest requirements of the students. But we have to change. Changing is a world, changing is challenging. So there need to be a training for that. The people, all the faculty may say that why I need a training. Okay, the certain things which you may not be knowing and somebody else will be knowing, and that he will tell what to do. Okay, when you give your talent to the others, then you will become a important person. And the others, when they have some specific talents, whatever they have, it will come out. And when they give that to the others, they will become a specific person. So it is a chain reaction. And outcome-based education is really catering to this type of teaching process. Otherwise, we remember what our teachers had given in notes. I think some of our notes have become brown color. And I've seen some of the process were laminating the notes as what they have written in their school days, college days, and following the same thing. Same set of books, same set of Parker Smith examples were given. It was like a Bible, Quran, Bhagavad Gita for a lot of electrical engineers. So that attitude is getting changed. That attitude is changed because our entrance exams, JEE, mains or advanced, whatever, are changing as per the norms of the nature and as per the norms of the technology. It is not simply copying from, you have a question bank given and wahi rat maar ke fir wahi. It's not that. The students need to think and answer. So when such students come to the technical institutes or even medical, I don't know about that, technical institutes, then teacher should be also very smart to teach those students. Earlier, what used to happen, okay, jisko PCM mein jada marks mila, whoever got the highest marks, they would have come to. Now, they are coming through the competitive exams in most of the universities. Whatever, I'm not just talking about JEE and all. So the teacher also need to change as per the requirements of the students and environment, means the present state. And this type of trainings are surely going to help them to think what I have to teach next. Why same Purana? I think nowadays your last year notes for the one subject may not be useful for the same subject next year. Things are changing. You might have seen the WhatsApp images, how a 5 MB computer, they used to bring in a lorry and fix it. And now the 5 MB storage system is like a chip, small chip on your fingertip. Nothing much, it's not 100 years old, it's few years old only. So technology is fast changing. To understand that, we have to go through this accreditation process training to learn more about outcome-based education and the NBA accreditation process. Please, faculty members, take it very seriously. It is not a picnic whenever you go for MBA accreditation. Because whatever knowledge you have been chosen and picked because you have specific knowledge, you are something special, something unique. So give that to the institute wherever you are going, or take it if something good is from them. So it is a give and take policy where the institute is accredited, where the students will come to that and the parents will be happy. Because I had a meeting today in the National Testing Agency. Rather than teaching the students, we have to give education, or we have to educate the parents, like what type of pattern of system is going on. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of court cases. Simply now court cases become a fashion. To stall something, put a court case. So we have to be very careful, very articulate, and it's artistic. It's a knack. Teaching is a knack. Everybody cannot become a teacher. It takes time. So when we enter what we see, because if you are not able to face the 100 and 120 students, even though you may be very strong, your theory, your intelligence is very good. But if you can't face the students, your intelligence will not come out. So teaching profession is a very novel profession across the world. And in India also, it is the same thing. That's why our teachers will become the Vishwa Gurus also when our India becomes Vishwa Guru. You might be knowing a lot of our teachers are in demand in most of the neighboring institutes, even in the developed neighboring countries, in the developed countries also. Wherever you go, you find all the high-end institutes, the professors or the faculty are from India only, Indian origin, Indian blood. ये हमारा खून में ही आया है teaching process. Gurukula system से we are the most civilized country. Okay, now we may be at the back doors, but since thousands of years, we are most civilized country. We teach to the world. That's why we are teachers. So our system has to be made very strong so that Atmanirbhar becomes a reality. This is more important, where our beloved Prime Minister gives all his slogans is not a slogans, it is connected to one another. The first slogan to last slogan, it is just a connection. Finally, when your Atmanirbhar becomes very strong, you will surely go for vocal for local, and when that happens, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is guaranteed. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is connected to that only. Because when we teachers teach the students in a good way, we make them citizens, good citizens, loyal citizens. We are not making them terrorists. So this process of training and all is very good and very challenging. Everyone should take it very seriously. I really congratulate the College of Engineering and Technology Udaipur along with my team, MNIT Jaipur and EICT Academy with the TechCube 3's support. So the government is helping in all the means. It is not just again a please karne ke liye slogan say. It's all connected. So TechCube 1, 2, 3, now 3 is helping. And the NPIU team is very strong. Because I've seen, I think Mr. Dr. Ajay was leading help, NPI should help us. Yes, help comes when you are showing your improvements. That is what has happened with MNIT. It will all happen with all the institutes. Who are the improvements? The faculty. When they show the improvement, naturally the government is ready to help. The leaders in the NPU, NBA, AICT will be happy to help them. It's not the question of making, they'll have a confidence in you when you show the confidence in teaching learning process and make a good citizens of the students. So take the advantage of this training and enjoy. Teachers now taking training, rather than training the students. So when you are on the other side of the bench, you will know what is the difficulty in that. And nowadays it is face to face. It's not in a mass. So all your emotions, your body language, your pronunciations, everything will be observed, and you have to change if there is some changes in you or some, I'm not telling wrongdoing if you are not doing in a right way. Straight line has to be straight line. You can't call a curved line as a straight line. Okay, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for highlighting the importance of MBA accreditation for a better teaching and learning process which is needed in the institution. Thank you very much, sir, for your motivating words to the faculty members that for improving the teaching methods and your encouraging words, which is always with us, and which will in turn give us our own visibility and good name in the outside world. Now, I would like to invite a guest of honor, Professor Narendra Singh Rathod, who is the VC and PPAG Udaipur. Please give the address to the audience of this workshop and grace the event. I welcome you, sir. Professor Narendra Singh Rathod, sir.
Good afternoon to all of you. I think I am audible, but my video is not running. That's I came.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible. We can hear you clearly.
Yeah. Thank you. Now on both sides, I am okay. Video is also running.
Video is also on.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot to all of you. Our respected director of MNIT, Professor Uday Kumar ji, and we are really fortunate that our NPIU CPA is also, he has joined, Professor PM Kodke has also joined, and this is a really good initiative which our both the institute, MNIT and CTA is going to organize. Everybody, those who are directly and indirectly involved, all deserve appreciation. I would like to congratulate all of them. And Dr. Bhakar is from our Jaipur, and Dr. Vikramadit is from our side. Madam Kavita is also there, and my friend Dr. Ajay Sharma is also attached with this webinar. No doubt the topic, as our director has also mentioned, that outcome-based of our education and accreditation both are interrelated to each other, and let us see that we are really responsible and accountable on this issue. That perhaps is the step with the help of accreditation, which is a one step where you can say that as far as the quality assurance is concerned, that is perhaps the main objective behind the accreditation. And if you see in our education system, there are four important considerations is there. First of them is a regulation. Second is, of course, accreditation. Third is the funding. And fourth is our minimum standard setting, what a new education policy has introduced. So accreditation long back in 1989, when Government of India was a signatory in our Washington Accord. At that time, it was decided that this is a really critical year, 2020, where we are supposed to have full signatory on account of accreditation. At initial inception, after signing this this accord, Government of India has started two different type of accreditation mechanisms. One was that is a NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, that was meant for a general colleges and university, and National Board of Accreditation was essentially for engineering and technical program, including management program as well. So these were the two major bodies responsible for accreditation of higher education in our country. And as far as the main objective, or what you can say outcome based education is concerned, perhaps this is a approach which ultimately gives an impression that we are supposed to revolve our education around a particular objectives and a specific goal. And if you see that as far as the technical education is concerned, perhaps our main objective is that we should work towards the philosophy of a job provider rather than a job seeker. That is basically a expected outcome out of all 3,000 plus engineering colleges in our country. But only problem is that for that, whenever there is a outcome based education is there, we will have to design our course syllabus accordingly, and there is a well-defined mechanism is there. Not only designing, you will have to first of all you will have to define what is a basic objective, and then you will have to design. Even you will have to develop the course syllabus, then you will have to devise the demonstrate, and at the same time you will have to disseminate the things. So there are well-defined procedure is there, but I would like to mention that our technical education, four different type of instructions are very important. First of important thing is that organizing our course curriculum, that is our classroom instruction. How, what type of uniformity we are maintaining, what is the content, coverage, and clarity as far as the classroom teaching is concerned. Whereas the second instruction, which is always be very important for us, that is our laboratory instruction. Under laboratory instruction, we will have to decide that how much skill component and how much ability component and what type of experience we are sharing along with the knowledge. That is a basically need of under this laboratory instruction. And third important thing is that for most of the engineering college, which AICTE has also approved, that we are supposed to have type of experiential learning and hands-on training, so that our students will gain a right type of a skill along with their knowledge. And as a result of this, number of course has been introduced. But only thing is that how to run this experiential learning and hands-on training in a different engineering college, that is a basically a important task. And fourth important consideration, which perhaps many NIT people and IIT people and good engineering college people are doing, but this is lagging in number of engineering college, that is a leadership development in the mindset of a student. That is also an important consideration. So we will have to see that when this is an outcome-based education, and everybody has already decided that our objective and outcome should be that we will provide a job provider rather than a job seeker. A well-defined balancing mechanism about teaching learning process, including what type of assessment technique we are supposed to articulate in a different engineering college. That should have some uniformity. And in fact, in most of the higher education, not only uniformity in a course syllabus is required, but in a teaching learning, a uniformity is required. Even assessment technique, a uniformity is required. And for that, accreditation is a must. And it is a one step ahead for and forward for a quality assurance. And if you see that there are 5 important components which we used to give, and more important in our agriculture education as well. Although ICR, you must be knowing, Indian Council of Agriculture Research is not having statutory power, but they are also doing this type of accreditation. Veterinary Council of India, they are also maintaining it. And in general, a very important consideration is that what type of governance we people are maintaining. Governance means what is the institutional framework, what are the act and statute, laws and rules and regulation, executive directives, and how you are performing the different activity, whether what is your mission, vision, program, educational objectives. These all are to be treated under this important consideration under governance. Second important thing is that a quality reform. Under this, what type of a course syllabus you are maintaining and you are attending, that is a need of our. And most of the committee members, they used to see that what is a course curriculum, what is a teaching learning process, and how evaluation is done. That is a basically even extracurricular activity, how we are maintaining. So all this comes under this second consideration, that is a quality reform. And third important consideration, which accreditation under accreditation, which is most important, that is a faculty, teaching and non-teaching faculty, whether quantity wise and quality wise, and what is their competency, what is their strength, and what is a basically overall their student teacher ratio that we used to see. And fourth important consideration in accreditation, which committee used to see, and we will have to deliberate the things, that what type of a quality we want amongst the student. Means a number of student category wise, their competency, and then evaluation pattern, each and everything one has to see. If you see that outlines in accreditation, whether it is an NBA or a NAC 1, and even if you see that a ICR or a BCI, apart from a mission and vision and program educational objective, our program curriculum, progress outcome, student performance, continuity of faculty, and what is the present state of art of equipments which is available for in order to meet out their requirements. So each and everything has to be well defined, documented, and as a result of this, every engineering college is supposed to get a right type of accreditation. I would like to congratulate MNIT and even CTA. I have seen Dr. Ajay Sharma is proactively working, and almost most of the courses which we are running at CTA, we are accredited. And same thing is true with our other agriculture courses which we are running, whether it is dairy technology, food technology, biotechnology. We have got a lot of other things, but only for engineering streams we used to moving towards the NBA. Otherwise, for other courses, we are taking accreditation from ICR and BCI. So there are a lot of things is there, but in future, what is being proposed in our new education policy, now there will be one accreditation board and common national accreditation council, under which except legal and medical, everything will fall. So then there will be more uniformity as far as the getting accreditation and other things is concerned. So definitely this training which we are going to organize under TechCube 3rd, this will be a way forward towards our faculty member to divert their attention that how we can compete in the this accreditation process and how we can have our systematic things, because designing basic principle of your outcome based education is to have high expectation, and you should expand the good opportunity for your student. A placement, right type of placement is in need of our. So I'm sure our experts, I have seen the complete list before joining you, that and I have seen that a number of good speakers are going to discuss a lot of issues. For doing this work, and at the same time we will be definitely benefited because of our NPIU chief is also, he has also joined, Professor Kodke has also joined, and definitely he will throw more light on how we can have accreditation. So without taking much more of the time, once again thank you very much Director MNIT for giving me this opportunity. And I also would like to congratulate Dr. Ajay Sharma and Vikramaditya from our side. They are really doing a good job. When I am comparing my engineering college with other colleges, we have got a lot of other different type of agriculture education colleges. So I am always saying that a engineering college of our university is standing on a top position. So thank you very much, Dr. Ajay Sharma, and thanks to all of you for giving me this opportunity.
Engineering institution. So now I would like to invite our chief guest, Professor P.M. Kodke, who is the president, who is the CPA of NPIU Delhi. So, sir, before you start, I would like to, if you allow me, I would like to highlight the important efforts done by you under the TQP. I'll take few minutes. Okay. So, sir, you have initiated SAR has initiated the process of faculty recruitment in the various engineering colleges in the country under TQP 3. So after having this teaching experience under TQP 3, most faculties are now, most of the faculties have obtained the permanent position in the national institution of the country, and which we all know. In addition, I would like to highlight that Professor Kodke also made the efforts to provide the support for the minor research projects to TQP faculty, where these faculty got the opportunity to work in a collaboration under the mentorship of the IIT and NIT faculties. Further, we appreciate your efforts, sir, that you started to work on encouraging the faculty to utilize the digital platform for teaching purposes before the COVID-19 period. For example, use of smart board is an example, and it's training being given online as well as offline to all the engineering institutions. I would like to add that he himself been monitoring all the objective and its target, which is expected or achieved under the TQP initiatives. Sir, we need your continuous support as a mentor or as a leader for the progress of our institution under TQP. Thank you, sir. Now, please address the audience of this workshop and praise this event.
Thank you, Kavita madam. Thanks for appreciation of the efforts taken by NPIU for during last 3.5 years. I am really honored to be amongst the great academic leaders. Professor Narendra Singh ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Uday Kumar ji, the Director of MNIT, Professor Vineet, Professor Swami, Professor Ajay Sharma, Professor Rohit. Of course, thanks to you for, because of you only I got an opportunity to have interaction today. Now, all the dear participants, more than 270 participants who are going to get training in next 5 days on a really a great topic, that is outcome-based education accreditation. I normally, say that, TechUp is not the funds giving organization, or NPI doesn't only, provide funds. Actually, TechUp is reforms giving. This is my own experience on other side of the table also, because I have been associated with TechUp since 2003, when TechUp 1 was, started, it was implemented. That time I was a director of one of the institute, who was also an institute like MNIT Jaipur. So on other side also I have seen, and now I am naturally heading the organization and implementing this project. So as an implementer also, so implementing agency and implementer, something like that. So this is my experience. Last 17 years, 18 years, I have experience that TechUp is not funds giving project. It is reforms giving project. Because reforms require, reforms is a change, little change for improvement. So for that you need some funding. And moment, you ask anybody to do some activity, the first question comes on my forehead is, what about the funds? Where from funds will come? How much funds will be required? And who will spare the funds? So that's why funds are there. So funds, TechUp is not funds. TechUp is a reforms. And this started in the year 2003. And since then, now this is third phase. And this third phase, it's a beautiful phase of, as compared to TechUp 1 and TechUp 2. So this time funds are not coming to us directly. Funds are coming to against the certain indicators. Those indicators we call as disbursement link indicators, DLIs. Unless and otherwise you achieve a particular indicator, World Bank will not provide the finance. And that's why we have been always constantly behind the institutions. Focus state institution, non-focus state institution. That what has happened to the result framework, what has happened to the performance benchmark, and what is happening with disbursement link indicators. For the information of everybody, I would like to tell you, NBA accreditation is also one of the indicators. That is for the focus state institutions, and for non-focus states institutions like MNIT Jaipur, it is one of the performance benchmark. It is a part of result framework. And World Bank is always insisting on achievement of result framework. Based on the achievement of result framework only, the project is graded. This time, I am very happy to share with you that we got very good grade for this project in the last joint review mission. As far as accreditation is concerned, when we started this project, that time we had only 9% programs. 9% programs of focus states accredited or applied for. Today, I am very happy to share with you that we have 54% programs which are accredited or applied for, against the target of 50. So we never restrict ourselves to the target. We always plan for the more than that. We are 54. As far as UG accreditation of focus state is concerned, we are falling short little bit. So against the target of 24%, we are 23%, 1% less. And that's why we have been insisting all focus state institutions for PG accreditation. Similarly, non-focus states, which includes MNIT Jaipur, the target was only 50% accredited or applied for. These are the current targets, while we achieved 67%. So we have crossed that limit also. As far as PG accreditation is concerned, there also we are falling short, as is happening with focus state institutions. Against the target of 32%, we are only 31%. So, Professor Rohit, my request to you is that you try to get your programs accredited, applied for. You said 65% PG programs you have applied for. So let us try for remaining 35%. Now coming to the topic, that is outcome-based education and NBA accreditation. Yes, really, Professor Narendra Singh really spoken on in that direction, that these are related to each other. Rather than saying relation, I will say outcome-based education is a process. Getting accreditation, NBA accreditation is a product. So you have to have that process in place. It's not that one time you do that and then that's all, forget. So therefore, whatever the topic has been selected today for next 5 days, outcome-based education, my request and appeal, earnest appeal to all the participants is that you please try to accept it. Not only accept, you practice it. You have to start practicing it, because tomorrow if you face difficulty in doing any kind of activity, any kind of assessment, or maybe curriculum design, or maybe COPO mapping, or maybe curriculum delivery, in that case you should not face any difficulty. So therefore, as rightly pointed out by Professor Uday Kumar, and he has requested all the participants to be very, very serious about this topic, because this is not related to your basic discipline. You may be a faculty in civil engineering or an electrical engineering. So the topic is not related to electrical engineering, not only related to civil engineering, not only related to, but it's across all. So today, if somebody, today I am very happy that one of my good friends of mine, Professor Vitthal Bandal, is expert. So Professor Vitthal Bandal has become most popular in the country. Let us forget only that particular state or in a particular institution, but he has become most popular figure in the country. Does the outcome-based education, the way he practices outcome-based education, the way he gives us so many examples on outcome-based education, these are fantastic. And I am very happy that Professor Bandal has agreed for this particular workshop as a resource person. So that's a great thing. So as far as NBA accreditation is also concerned, earlier this was output-based kind of thing. Output means percentage. What percentage a student is scoring? What is the percentage placement? What different activities are conducted, etc., etc. The outcome-based education, I will say that it is related to the attributes. If you see the employability things, kind of different surveys conducted, and the reports are published by Skill India report. Also, there is many organization, company, industry organizations are also publishing reports on employability, and everywhere they say the employability of Indian engineers is something like 35% to 40%. Now 35 to 40%, on one side we say our percentage results are something like 95% and 100% and 98% and more than 85%. Why our employability is 35 to 40% only? The reason is whatever is expected by the industry, that we are not able to provide. There are certain gaps. What we provide in the classroom is a knowledge. But apart from the knowledge, industry's expectations are more than that. Industry is never interested in how much CGPA a student is having, how much percentage he has scored, what is his rank, which different subjects he has studied, etc. But industry is always interested in what attributes an engineer which is produced by a particular institution is having. India is the great country. You know that we are third largest higher education system in the world after China and United States. We have so many colleges, so many universities, so many things. As far as engineering colleges, more than 3,000 colleges are there. The intake also is more than 13,000. We are great as far as scientific publications, patents, something like Global Innovation Index, Startup Hub, many R&D, etc. We are great everywhere. But we are falling short as far as the skills are concerned. What is needed is, what are the skills? We require, or expectations of the industry is, you are an engineer. Engineer should have applied knowledge. Knowledge, naturally, it is applied. So when knowledge comes, naturally skills will also come. What Professor Narendra Singh was, Narendra Kumarji was telling us that, some laboratory, some classroom teaching. Second thing which is expected by industry is effective relationship. Third thing which is related, which is also another expectation, that is workplace skills. Combined together called as knowledge, skills and behavior. And that is a terminology KSB. So we wanted that particular thing in our teaching education or in teaching learning process. And that's why, accreditation has taken up this particular initiative of introducing outcome-based education since year 2009. For next 5-6 years, we were just under training. Now, I hope our entire country is trained, and I hope that this outcome-based education will become a practice. Forget about accreditation for the time being. It will become a practice in every individual institution. And Professor Barker will explain. He has tried to get good resource persons. I hope that the next 5 days are going to be very brainstorming things, and the participants will also get an opportunity to ask the questions to the experts, and they get all their queries and issues resolved. But we should understand that education system is based on 3 pillars. First one is a curriculum. What kind of curriculum you are having? So there are some modules which are necessary to be incorporated in the curriculum as far as outcome-based education is concerned, and what they normally call as a course and course outcomes, course objectives. Curriculum contents are very important. Second is curriculum delivery. And third one is very important thing is assessment. How do you assess? Now all these skills are to be assessed, all these attributes as far as outcome-based education is concerned. Teamworking, leadership is also attribute. Do we evaluate the students on the basis of leadership? Frankly speaking, no. And what happens typically in a particular institute, when we visit, I think Professor Uday Kumar might have realized that when there is a visit, that time, that year, that particular semester, we go for outcome-based education. Moment I got accreditation, I forget everything. Just like getting PhD, and after PhD, no research. There are few faculty members. Not to criticize anybody, but there are few faculty members. Moment I achieve my PhD, I forget research. See, PhD is a license for research. So from there, you should, that's the driving license. You should start now practicing. So therefore, it should not become merely an event, but it should become a practice. And that practice is possible only when we introduce some outcome-based assessment system. So outcome-based curriculum, outcome-based course delivery, and outcome-based assessment system. These 3 points, my faculty members who are going to participate, they understand from this, and they start practicing from today only. It's a tedious, it's a time-consuming job. Some laborious work we have to do, but actually it is intelligent. Professor Bandal will tell you how important it is and how easy it is. We are thinking like, so many question marks on my forehead. Moment I say, somebody says, do COPO mapping, do this kind of calculations. That, very time consuming, we feel like. But Professor Bandal will explain, no, it's not a time consuming. It's an entertaining job. It's a joyful point. So I hope that this workshop is going to be very, very useful for the participants, for the entire country. And let us spread this buzzword, outcome-based education, OBE, in the education system as a whole. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for highlighting the milestone achieved under Technique 3 and also for highlighting the importance of MBA education and its relation to the industry involvement. I appreciate your encouraging words, and we have been working hard in that direction, and also for the continuous efforts to achieve this goal. Thank you. Now, this is the time of vote of thanks. So, on behalf of organizing committee, first of all, I extend my most sincere thanks to our dignitaries, our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor E.M. Godke, our presiding guest, Professor Uday Kumar R. Yaravati, Director of INIT Jaipur, our guest of honors, Professor Narendra Singh Rathore, PC, NP UAT Udaipur, Professor Ajay Sharma, Dean of CTE Udaipur, who spared time with us from their busy schedule to grace this occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds, and sir, we need your continuous support as a mentor for the progress of our institution, which will in turn help us to get the new direction and new path. My gratitude to all the speakers for raising the occasion and sharing their experience and opinion on NBA accreditation process today and during the workshop. Now, I would like to thank Dr. Rohit Bagar, Coordinator, PICU, and Professor Vinay Samula, CI of the EICT Academy, for providing us the continuous support and guidance to organize this program. An event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and bird's eye for the detailed work. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very active and proactive and the dedicated teaching and non-teaching staff in TQ at our institution who are well versed in their job. A special thank goes to Dr. Chitrakan Sahu, who is the convener of the program, for being the catalyst that stimulates us to do our best and stand as a pillar of the strength for this workshop. He worked day and night in organizing this program. I would like to further extend my thanks to Dr. Vikramaditya Dev, Nodal Officer TQ3 from CTA and coordinator of this workshop for his kind support in organizing this program. With a deep sense of appreciation, we thank our participants who are connected online with us here. I'm sure you will be benefited from this program. Last but not the least, a big thank to each and everyone who made this program available. Thank you very much to all of you. Now I would like to give this session to Dr. Vikramaditya Dev to please introduce about the expert keynote speaker with us.